Do you have a space like this, whether it is a garage or a storage room or even just a closet in your house, where things just pile up and it's just like a dumping ground? Things go there to die. For me, my garage needs to be tidied up regularly. It needs a maintenance declutter, which makes sense for a lot of our homes. Go ahead and tell me in the comments, what is your sort of storage room space? Is it a space that has is a garage, or do you have a storage room, or is it your laundry room? Is it the entrance to your house? Is it just outside of your house? Where do you put things for temporary and long-term storage? Now, what I am going to do real quick, I'm going to inform you before I get to the meat and potato of what we're doing today, is I'm just tackling this garlic, which I harvested way back in July, and then it was drying. And this is the thing. We tackle these things. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you just a little bit about how to declutter a space like this, how to get on top of things, how to manage our temporary storage, and to reclaim the space in just a few focused hours. So yay, I got that garlic done and I am just so happy. Here's the thing. I am a 100% fallible human being. Yes, I have a YouTube channel that is all about decluttering. I train people. I offer one-on-one group coaching, all of the things. Yet this space can get messy, and I'm not going to blame my family because I am part of the problem. Right here you can see I am tackling the recycling and a few other things before I can actually really kind of get to the decluttering and that. And that is one thing that I definitely need to work on. So I want to quickly chat about, before I get to the rest of it, about the space where we keep things, the sort of multi-purpose nature of a garage or a laundry room or whatever. These are kind of like transitional hubs for maybe you recycle, or you have, bottles and cans that need to go back, to be recycled. There's garbage. There's a lot of things, returns, things that are being donated. For me, these are things that I had donated or decluttered over the last month or two and just had not dealt with. So I needed to go through it because I want to get a lot more consistent about taking things to the donation place more often. And I always say I will bring things when I'm getting my nails done, but when they're buried under recycling, I don't get that done. So these transitional hubs, maybe it's for projects in process where I had my garlic sitting right there. And the thing is, when life gets busy, it's easy for this space to spiral out of control. I talk about the clutter spiral of chaos, and life can get super chaotic, which is, no bueno. We don't like that. So once I broke down all of that, I started tackling all of the other things that were there. And I also I will let you know, while I am doing this garage declutter, I basically handled one half of the garage. The other half of the garage that you can see there and that you saw during the before video is sort of like more on my husband's side, and he did come out and join me quickly. This wagon here that you can see me moving, I sold that on Facebook Marketplace, but I sold it to a fellow who lives in Vancouver, and I am on Vancouver Island. So he needs to take a ferry with the vehicle to bring it over. And the other thing that we often put in garages is, do you say garage or do you say garage? My mom says garage. I say garage. I don't know where I got that, but anyway. The other thing is, though, we'll often put things in the garage that we want to fix. Now, I understand that so many people have the mentality that they are going to save the things, and that is totally understandable. That right there is a coffee maker that I decluttered from my kitchen. Anyway, so they want to be the person that saves the thing. The lamp that you saw there before, my son, who is one of those I can fix it, sort of save it kind of people, had it in his room for probably about 10 months. And I kept saying, what are you going to do with this? And it was just lying on his floor, that big lamp. And I said, okay, you need to go ahead and decide what you're going to do. So he put it in the garage. So it had to be garbage because the pegs were broken. It was from IKEA, like not the best quality. I'm just going to refill this tide that I had placed on the ground instead of refilling this. A lot of people don't like decanting because, it does require this sort of activity, but for certain things, I like it. I really like the way the jars look in the laundry room, which you will see later because we are doing a decluttering challenge this month just for free on YouTube. I'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. So one more thing about fixing things. If you are putting things in a storage space, saying like, oh, I'm going to come back to this, I'm going to fix, or I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to make a decision. It's really good if we can give ourselves a time limit. I like to call it the penalty box, and that can actually and that is things where you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. And the penalty box is just because I'm Canadian. That's like a hockey thing. And what you can do is go ahead and maybe set your Google timer in your phone. Like if you have like your kids' activities in there or any like work appointments or doctor's appointments or whatever, so handy just to throw in there, like even quarterly, reevaluate this space, or what am I doing here, or whatnot. And that comes back to like the recycling that I broke down. I was not keeping up with, the recycling, and like the family wasn't either. It's not just all me, but some of it is my stuff. And I really am trying to get in the habit of resetting the room, quote, I'm doing air quotes as I sit here and you cannot see me, at the end of the day, reset the room. So I like to get that done in the kitchen and in the living room, all of that. Why can't I reset my garage, right? Reset the garage. So I now, since I have decluttered this garage, I have been like, if I bring out a box, I am crushing it. And one thing I realized, so you can see in the back of my car, there is where I'm piling up stuff. And since I have decluttered this garage, and when you see it's done, you'll be like, oh my gosh, like, look at how good it looks. My husband has reconfigured a few things. There's a tractor that generally lives in the garage, and it wasn't there. And they've actually since got a car, like a car to work on, which, I'm not in love with, but it's fine. It actually looks really good. But I realized there needs to be a space. If you're going to be decluttering right now, I am actively decluttering my house. There needs to be a space where we can put things. So could I put it in the back of my car? Yes, if I wanted to, or I need to have a box, and that box needs to be dealt with on a regular basis. So I thought it would be fun for the month of October to do a challenge. So what I'm thinking we're going to do is I've invited a few other fellow decluttering, cleaning YouTube people to join. And there is a playlist that is linked below that you can watch the videos on. Most of them will be mine because I don't think others are doing like a weekly video, and I'm doing weekly plus there's this one and maybe a few others. You can see I just put shorts on because it was so hot. What I plan on doing, and this is just a free thing that I'm going to have on YouTube for the month of October, and you can just join along. You can, if you want to share your wins, go ahead and post in the Facebook group, my free Facebook group. It's linked below. If you also want some tips about how to declutter, go ahead and download my free decluttering ebook. I think it is super duper helpful. And so what I'm going to do personally is I am decluttering every weekday for around 15 to 30 minutes. Some days it might be longer. It might be more like an hour. And I'm going to declutter just all over my house. I'm doing a maintenance declutter. I have fully decluttered my house several times, so I don't need to go too severe. However, I can tell you that I have already started in the kitchen, and I was surprised at how much I actually got out of there. So join me in this challenge. Just keep watching the videos, hop on the Facebook group. It'll be fun. And yeah, I'm excited. Okay, so this is a funny story, and I'm not going to tell the entire story, but I will link the video at the end. I told a story about when we lost power for 3 days because there was like a crazy windstorm back, I believe it was December 2018. And we lost power for 3 days. Some people lost it for 9. But that box that you saw was my emergency supplies. And I have since updated it. But at the time, there was only applesauce and batteries and I think like a radio and some flashlights. So it was a pretty pathetic box. Now up here, we are getting down some stuff that, okay, do you ever keep things like a Lego box? My husband had wanted this box to keep this box because he was just like, well, it's a quality box and it's for my Lego set and I feel like you should collect it. So are you the type of person that hangs on to this type of box for maybe you think you might return something? I actually did that recently. I bought something and I thought, okay, I might end up returning this. So I ended up keeping the box. But what I did was I set a timer. I put it on my phone, just like where we're keeping our kids' activities and any other schedules. And I can say like, declutter that box. And I'll even put like what the box is and where it is. My brain, my poor brain, it just cannot keep up with where things are and all of the things. So I need to remind myself. The other thing I want to mention is if you are short like me, go ahead and bring a tall person in to help reach things down. Now, we got down some old sporting equipment. It was sort of like that fantasy self. Are we going to be tennis players? We are not. So finally, it was time to tackle that stuff, which felt so good. The theme that I am trying to embody during this decluttering is being very, very realistic with what we are doing and trying to be kind of ruthless. I'm sort of like trying to use the word ruthless in my head when I am looking at stuff and being like, trying to be so reasonable. Like, no, I am not going to use this. We are not going to use this. The kids aren't going to use this. We're going to let it go. They're growing up. We can't just hang on to things forever. And that's okay. It feels good to just sort of like move on. And the other thing is once you've gotten enough things out and you feel like, yeah, like this space is very manageable. We're keeping things that we use because with these storage spaces, quite often we keep the I could use it one day things. I love the 2020 rule where I say if I can replace it with in 20 minutes for less than $20, I can declutter a just in case thing, which is something I don't use, but I think I could use in the future. Some people will say to me, is minimalism only for rich people? No, it's not. And I totally understand that we can come from a place of scarcity when we grow up if we don't have a lot of things or a lot of money. That was me when I was growing up. We didn't have a lot of money at all. There were a lot of meals of macaroni and canned tomatoes with a whole lot of butter and salt and pepper. It was delicious. But minimalism does not have to be for poor people. It's great the reason why we are decluttering things is because they are holding us back. We are not using them and we can let them go. It's wonderful. It's a gift to yourself. In all of my years of decluttering, all of the things I've decluttered, I've only ever replaced one thing, and that was some jars for making kombucha. So that set me back $30 Canadian, which I suppose could be the 2030 rule for Canadians with the exchange rate. Am I right, fellow Canadians? Anyway, so once you have gone through your space and you are like, yes, like you're being ruthless like me, clean it. Our fridge was broken a few weeks ago and it felt so good when we pulled it out to vacuum under it and to mop that floor. Did it need it? No, but it felt really, really good. So go ahead and clean the space because we're making things organized. We're making things, make them accessible. We can make them usable. Organize things in order of what you use first to what you don't. Now, here I am at the landfill, which I love. I love the landfill because if I am not using something, and it's going to go to the landfill anyway, I'm going to. It killed me to throw out those helmets, but you can't, I don't think you can donate the helmets. And like there's a sort of a shelf life on them for safety and all of that. And it was painful. It was painful. I normally don't find the landfill very smelly at all, but the guy who pulled up next to me, oh, I don't know how old his garbage was, but it smelled terrible. That was like the only time I've been there where I was like, ooh. Sometimes there's a bit of a methane smell, which is like whatever. But I just love it. And I said to the lady when I left, I was like, I love it here so much. And they're also, I didn't throw any of the wood out. There was a section for donating wood, so that was good. Now, what you're seeing me do here is I am loading up my car to then donate. One of the things I realized when I was decluttering my kitchen, which is coming up, you're going to see, is that, and I was shocked at how much I got out of my kitchen still. Like, this is the thing. You can still tackle areas, and maybe you're not going to get your whole house decluttered in October, but maybe you will. Anyway, have a plan for getting that stuff out of your house, though. What we did was I went ahead and brought stuff to the donation center. I brought stuff to the landfill that I knew would go to the landfill anyway if I were to die. That's always what I say. I'm not going to get back on that topic, but tackle that, like take it out. And so after I had done the kitchen, I went ahead and I realized that I had 2 big bins of stuff. So I just took it straight. One day I ended up taking it to Value Village and I just dropped it off and it felt so good. Like it was gone. And so this is just dropping stuff off at the donation place and it just feels so good to just get it out of there. So then the garage can be like good and clean. And there's a box of meat in the corner that I grabbed on the way there. So it was all good. It was just it felt so good. And it was just so productive to declutter the space. My husband did his half. I mean, if he wasn't there helping me, I would have done his half too. I mean, but I wasn't going to because there was way too many decisions he had to make over there. But tackling it and then getting rid of the stuff is the best. Well, it has been a couple of days and I am so excited to show you the garage now that it's done. However, there's one thing that unfortunately is going to make it look worse. And if you're married, you will understand that, you know, your spouse just they can't read your mind, which is so frustrating. Anyway, my husband went ahead and put his tractor in here. So what I'm going to do is also put a video of what it looks like without the tractor in here. I also just removed that, which is a garden wagon sort of thing that I sold to a lovely guy on Facebook Marketplace, but he lives in Vancouver and I'm on Vancouver Island. So he has to take a ferry to come over here and grab it. So let's take a tour around. I'm going to show you. So it's actually been about 2 weeks since we did it. So a couple of things have slipped and I really want to show you that it at least can be fixed quickly and also show you that my husband's side is his side. Okay, so it is way better already. I'll just close the lid to this gross food waste. They picked it up today. Well, actually they didn't. We didn't get that out, but we did get the garbage out. So look at this though. What an improvement this is. And this particular thing was actually downstairs under the stairs in the basement. It's actually like a bed to go in the back of my husband's car. And if you know that we foster kittens, I will let you know they are leaving tomorrow. So that garbage basket will be going back in the main bathroom, which is great. Like there's so much here. Those garbage bags, like we have this style of situation going. So we don't even really use garbage bags that much, like basically just when decluttering. And looks like some garbage fell out before garbage day. And then like my husband's got his car washing supplies. And then I'll show you over here. I put bike helmets and then car washing supplies in there and there and there. He wanted it in a different spot, but I was like, why not just be closer to the cars? So there is that. I'll show you this section real quick. That's where that wagon was. And I'm thrilled because this space will pretty much just have this smoker. This chair isn't even ours. It was lent to us for a family gathering, and that's a step stool. So it's really, it looks a lot more crowded than it actually is. This little bike, I was going to sell it, but then I heard this guy was telling a story about how when he was a kid, how he didn't really have a bike and this whole story. And I just was like, I'm going to donate that bike. So we're going to do that. This is an old safe from my grandparents' house. So we're basically looking for the code and then we're going to probably just donate it. Tires, some more bikes. I think all the bikes are going to be sold. So we're not even like done. This deep freeze is fine. There's our toilet brush from the bathroom. My husband's music. Like this is just like, these are things that really we just need to continue to organize. But look at this. Like that is fire starter because fire season is starting. Like inside fire season, good fire season. Some totes. Again, more totes. You will declutter so many totes when you do a huge declutter. And these are basically just for when we do donations. So again, more stuff that's going. There's some supplies or some stuff for a motorcycle that my son is going to be selling. And I think that goes to the motorcycle. So even more is going to be gone. But I really wanted to get this video out for you guys. So this is my husband's side. It actually is a little more organized. These are things from that darn motorcycle. Again, I'm very glad that that's not my deal. Yeah, so my husband, he actually did quite a bit. And yeah, this side is looking a lot better. And I will show you what it looks like without the tractor. Over here, this is where we stack up the firewood. And the kindling goes in there. I mean, we're getting ready for fall. I'm actually going to get rid of that. That's just like, I got that as like a carboy as decoration. Or I thought I was going to make cider. And I've just defrosted, because this darn fridge behind me, it freezes everything. Just defrosted a bunch of my kombucha scobies. So it is not kombucha season anymore. So I'm going to dump that out now that they're defrosted. But this is nice and clear. I'm very, very happy about that. Under here is a lot better. Under here is a lot better. And you know what's funny is I straight up forgot to do certain things. So I can even come back later. This section, I mean, it's not that bad. So it's mostly just like light bulbs and batteries that need to be organized. And then this is fertilizers and such. Because I don't like to leave our fertilizers here over the winter, or outside over the winter. I don't know if it's okay or not. And then this is actually our outside pantry. I completely forgot to do it, but it's actually not that bad. There are a few things I can go in and grab, and I'll just make another video about that. There are 3 common mistakes that a lot of us make when we are decluttering though, and I'm going to put that video right here. You're going to want to check that out. This is the before of the garage if you're catching this later. Make sure that you join in on the challenge in October. It's just here on YouTube, just hosting it, decluttering every day for October. Stay tidy and mighty. I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!